नित्य गोविंद माझ्या मना लागो छंद गोविंद नित्य गोविंद गोविंद हा जनीवने गोविंद हा गोविंद हा जनीवने गोविंद हा जनीवने माने का जनार्दने गोविंद नित्य गोविंद माझ्या मना लागो छंद गोविंद 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 नित्य गोविंद नित्य गोविंद गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
The ways of the divine are many, but so are the ways of the devotee. They are also too many. Devotees have found expression in so many different ways, in so many absolutely beautiful ways, in so many revolutionary ways. In ways that shook the prudish society to its core. This rendition was a small expression of that in Marathi. But India is replete with such variety of expressions of the devotee that people who come from other cultures, it may be little shocking for them. A Meera or an Andal would be very shocking for people who have been brought up in very prudish ways of handling their religion, very prudish ways of handling their inner well-being. That doesn't make sense. You need some prudery to survive in the society. But you don't need any prudish ways for inner well-being. Within yourself, you must be utterly promiscuous, crazy and mad, otherwise nothing beautiful will ever happen within you. Social situations, yes, you have to maintain certain prudery. So the devotees found expression in such beautiful and unconventional ways. The Mirabais, I'm saying Mirabais because there have been many and there still are. One became famous because she happened to be a queen also. I'm not belittling her by saying that her name and fame is just because she was somebody's wife. But definitely, she got more attention from the society and those people who write history because she was a queen. Any number of men and women have burst forth with as much devotion, if not more, if it's possible to be more, I don't know, than Meera. But they have gone unheard of because one thing is, a devotee has no intention to be heard by anybody. He never made any efforts to be heard by people. What he was doing was just an outpouring of his love and devotion. He just raised the emotional dimension within him, the juice within him, the ras within him, to its highest sweetness and its highest intensity. And he was just an outpouring of that. And this outpouring of love and devotion has been the seed of various art forms in India. There are many minor ones which are almost, single village-based art forms. When near Mysore, not now, few years ago, I had a farm in a very remote place because I was looking for that mountain. I went and… because I couldn't find any, I went and bought up this place next to a small hillock which had a little Shiva temple on it. And it also had a nice slope where I could do hang gliding. And there was a nice lake, big enough lake, where I could raft and fish and swim and everything. So, I thought this must be the place of my vision. I knew it was not, but I convinced myself because it had everything and the land was available. So when I was in this village, this place was called as Maddur. Not the Maddur that you've heard of, Vada Maddur, no. Kannada people, no? You know Vada Maddur? I'm not talking about Vada Maddur, a small remote village with a population of about 600 to 700 people. 600 people, I think, at that time. Totally cut off from civilization and very beautiful little place. People were generally pretty poor because they were not doing any organized agriculture because rainfall was copious, and in the month of… end of May, if they throw ragi and jola, for that year eating, whatever cereal is needed will come. In the month of October, if they throw a few grams of horse gram, cowpea and something like this, green gram, for that year's consumption for the family, protein will come. And for other nutrients, all the time greens are growing everywhere. Every day, this is a normal thing for the woman in those parts of the country. In the morning, she just goes out for the toilet. On the way back, she just goes about like that. By the time she comes, she has in her sari, she has so much greens when she's coming. She'll just pick it up because it's all over the place, not in anybody's land. It's simply everywhere, greens that you can eat. So come home, you have ragi mudde or jola mudde, which is very easy to cook. And you have greens, and anyway you have some gram at home. If you're up to it, you make bassaru. Otherwise you make something simple. So the meal is ready. So people are easygoing, Till I went there, nobody had even dug a well. They didn't even dig a well in their lands. When I went and dug the well and I hit water at 18 feet, full of water, they were all amazed. And I started all kinds of agriculture, and when I hit the bore well, my bore well was overflowing without a pump. There was no pump, simply water was overflowing out of the bore well 24 hours of the day. Because they had never used the groundwater, they were just happy with the rains. And some years, once in 5-6 years, when there was a bad rain year, all the men went out for labor into the estates in Coorg, in the coffee estates they worked, and came back for 3 months. That gave them enough money to tide over that bad year, and they again prayed to Shiva, next year would be good. So in a village like this, which is really not connected with anything much outside, I found on the Mahashivratri day, all the men wore bangles, green bangles from here to here, and all dancing and all that stuff. I had never seen anything like that. So being right there and everybody in the village, I knew them very well, I was thinking of starting off a major rural project along with them at that time, which I did not do. So I went for this festival and I saw all these men dancing with green bangles. In India, generally, a man wearing bangles is considered like, coward eye. If somebody is a coward, you send him a gift of bangles, it's the worst of insult. If you send a pair of bangles for a man, you can insult him in the worst possible way, that's what it means. But here, happily men are wearing bangles and dancing around. So I asked this man, and at that moment when I spoke, we recently, after almost 15 years, I went back to the village 15 or 17 years, I went back to the village and I wanted to meet all the simple guys, laborers who worked for me. And most of the time I was not in the farm, I was traveling. Once or twice a month I just went there and they took good care of things, they raised a good coconut farm for me, everything, so I wanted to see them. I didn't get to meet this guy. This guy is totally illiterate, never been to school kind of guy, but very smart. And he's a Harijan, so nobody… See, the Harijan, he's an untouchable. The untouchables and the caste Hindus live separately in the same village. The untouchables are always at the south end of the village. They have their own drinking water facility, they have their own everything, they won't mix with these people. So when he comes to the farm, if he's eating, I carry my carrier also and sit next to him and eat. He would refuse, he said, he would stand up and say, "Don't do this, how can you sit and eat with me?" After some time he relaxed. So we had a kind of bond very talkative, illiterate, but he knew the lore of the village very well. He's around at that time, maybe 50 years of age, 45, 50. Quite ageless he was. His name was Gaya. Gaya means a wound. A wound. This is also part of the technology of exploitation, that usually these untouchables were given those kind of names which will not bring respect. You won't call him Rama, you won't call him Krishna, you will call him by some name which is, even if his parents have given him a decent name, the people in the village will call him by a shorter version which should not bring that respect, that you should not call him Rama. So they called him Gaya because it seems when he was a boy, he had a festering wound in his foot which did not heal for a long time. So they called him Wound. So this Gaya, I did not ask some village leaders, I just asked this guy, what is this, all you men wearing bangles? Caste Hindus also wearing bangles and dancing within the temple, untouchables wearing bangles and dancing outside the temple, all men. So he said, he had a very loud and a different way of speaking. He said, Shiva is getting married today. All of us are hoping that we can be his bride. I said, that's fantastic. All you guys, you want to be his bride. And I asked, where is this? Nowhere else I've seen such a thing. How come just here? So he said, some 2 generations ago, a man in that village started this. And slowly everybody followed in the 2 generations, and that tradition is only for that village. Like this, there are innumerable expressions of devotees. So that particular culture of dancing with green bangles on Mahashivratri night is only limited to Maddur village of 600 people. It is a culture by itself. Like this, there are thousands of art forms and forms of worship which have developed in different parts. A very beautiful and exquisite art form which developed in certain parts of Orissa. This art form that you will see now, in many ways, is the basis of the famous Odissi dancing. Most Odissi dancers of any caliber, in their early age, have been Gotipuas. They're called Gotipuas. What a Gotipua means is, a young boy below his puberty age will dress up like a girl and do the ras like Krishna and Gopi, Krishna and Radhe. Most of the songs and almost everything is Radhe Krishna thing. But these are all young boys dressed like girls, extremely flexible in their body, acrobatic, and a truly enchanting art form, very unique to this place. In its theme and the way it is rendered, it's a very unique and exquisite art form. Here we have a team of Gotipuas. These young boys, dressed like girls, will put all the women to shame with how much femininity they will move and do things, you will see. This… their guru is Sri Magunidas, who is a Padma Shri awardee. And generally these Gotipuas, at the age of 5 or 6, they are given away to the guru. They spend a minimum of 6-7 years to learn this art. But by the time they start performing 1 or 2 years, they will be unfit for performing once they become of the puberty age. Then if they wish to become dancers, they will pursue Odissi, or they go back to their normal agricultural lives. This is a Gurukula system where children go and stay with the guru full-time and learn this. They're very good singers and incredible dancers. And this is also a way of getting into the Guru Shishya Parampariya, disciplining one's life, learning about the various dimensions of his own inner nature. A person who goes through this discipline for 6 to 7 years definitely turns out as a very balanced, sensible, loving human being. It's a very different way of transforming a human being. Right now, we will witness the Gotipuas. You must get a front seat, everybody. These are true devotees. Yesterday, someone was asking how to practice love and devotion. These are very acrobatic devotees. You don't have to be such an acrobat to be a devotee, but you definitely need the humility of those little boys to be a devotee. They're true stars, but they're not stars. They're just humble devotees. That you need, that you are not important. You didn't see a moment of self-importance in them. Though in any crowd, anywhere in the world, they can become stars, but you don't see a single moment of self-importance in them. That makes one a devotee. One who does not make himself important is a devotee. Now Parvati is struggling, shall I be Shiva devotee or Vishnu devotee? There is no such thing. All devotees are one party. What he is devoted to, what tools he is employing to make himself into utter sweetness within himself, what does it matter? He's reached the peak of sweetness within himself. That's all that matters. I knew these boys were extremely good, but still they blew my mind. The reason why you asked this question, how to practice love, is unfortunately, love has always been a currency to get what you want. It's because of this. It is because of this culture. It is because of this training in your social living, where they taught you, okay, you love him, but what's the use? Somebody was asking one of our meditators in Delhi, okay, all that is fine, but tell me, what's Sadhguru done for you? No, it doesn't matter who he is, this. That is all okay, but what has he done for you? Tell me, list it out. What has he done for you? It is because this principle and this arithmetic follows you into every aspect of your life. Okay, all that is fine. What is the takeaway? You make yourself crippled for love. Maybe moments of emotion you have. That brings a little bit of, it keeps you sane. It doesn't send you to the mental asylum. It helps you to avoid the mental asylum, that little bit of sweetness here and there that you create with one or two people. That's not love. Your relationship with somebody is not a love affair. Love affair is when you're simply an uncontrollable outpouring of sweetness within you. That's when you have a love affair. Not when you go and do something particular with somebody, it's a love affair, no. It's a tragic drama of trying to extract something from somebody with very devious ways, using your body, emotion and everything to get what you want. That's a very tragic drama that's going on in the world, which is passing off as love. Okay, anyway, we're here, let's practice some love. The reason why to simply be loving has become difficult for human beings is, one thing is they're trying to be loving. Why does anybody have to try to be loving is the very nature of the emotion, the very nature of the dimension of emotion is such. The moment a logical thought arises, it evaporates. Is that so? Is that so? You know it. Yes. The moment a logical calculation arises in your mind, the sweetness of emotion just evaporates totally. Then you're trying to milk it. Then you're trying to milk it by doing appropriate things. The divine Vasudeva, Krishna Vasudeva, how would he walk? How would he walk? How would he sit? How would he have breathed? How he did everything in his life. Knowing him, even having a glimpse of him, no human being can avoid wondering how he would have been. Now, we will do Vasudeva walk, Krishna walk. Now, Daksha Seth will depict to you Vasudeva walk. How Krishna, the Bala Krishna would walk. How Krishna, Gopala Krishna would walk, or Gopi Vallabha would walk. How Krishna as Yadukula Shura, as a warrior, would walk. And Krishna as Dharma Gupta would walk. And Krishna as Antaryami, the all-pervading force, would walk. So this is Vasudeva walk.
When Creator creates somebody, the Creator can be God or nature. So he creates stupid men, unwise,
Yes,
unaware.
some of them, yes.
Okay. And then he makes them wise and aware.
We don't know about that.
Why can't he create them aware, born aware or born realized or born enlightened? Or he can create them born stupid and live stupid and die stupid. So why he is making this drama? Why the Leela? That's my question.
So that we can have fun. No Leela, Leela. Oh. Anyway, you started with God did create some stupid men. So the question is coming from various assumptions. You have first of all assumed that there is a God, then you have assumed that He created you, then you have rightly assumed that some of them are stupid. Too many assumptions in this. If you remove all these assumptions, the question doesn't have any strength in it, isn't it? Assumptions, people have always gone into assumptions because it's an easy way out. I'm sorry, it's an easy way, but no way out. It's not really a way out. It is not a solution, but it pacifies you for some time. It keeps you in some sense of solace for a while, but it's not a way out from the trap that you're in. The very fact that you're asking this question is because you're experiencing life like a trap, isn't it so? Otherwise you wouldn't ask this question. So for the trap that you're in, assumptions are not a solution, they're just a solace. If I tell you God has created you, especially you, with a specific purpose, a little stupid but with a specific purpose, then it keeps you going for some time till life knocks you and tells you something else one day. It won't be very far away. So, keep all your assumptions aside and then ask me the question. We will see if you can still frame the question properly, sensibly, without your assumptions. Only when that happens, that you are not able to articulate the predicament that you are in, then it tears you. Now all these questions, okay, like this, why is God doing this, why is God doing that? In all this stupid talk, you are not understanding, nor are you really facing the kind of predicament that you are really in. Only when that predicament becomes a tearing force within you, then the longing to know will find wings. Till then, it will not find wings. You'll only find solace, you'll only find stupid conclusions. Bhagavad Gita said like this, that guru said like this guru said like this, all kinds of nonsense. This will not liberate you, this will only solace you. But it takes courage to keep all assumptions aside. It takes enormous courage to keep all assumptions aside, or it takes absolutely insane love to keep all assumptions aside. Either you need courage or you need love. We've been trying to make you fall in love in the last 6 days. I'm not as beautiful as Krishna. What shall I do? This is how I am. So if we have failed to make you fall in love, get ready for courage. You know what courage is? Okay. One day, three generals met. And once a couple of drinks are downed, it's always a bragging match in the army mess, you know. It's called a mess, so you understand. So one general said, my battalions are the most courageous battalions anywhere. The other two shook their heads in pity. He thinks so, he believes that. He looked at them and said, you just watch this. He said, hey trooper, come here. One of his men came. And this place is on a mountain. He said, you know, from this peak to that peak, there's no way any man can physically jump. He said, trooper, just put on your best run and just jump to the other peak. Without a word, the soldier went back, thundered down, jumped and fell into the ravine. The general, you saw that, my men, what courage they have. This is real courage. The second general said, that is nothing. You just watch my men, how they are. Then he called one of his men and he said, Sergeant, here's a minefield. Just go dance on the minefield. The sergeant went, danced, didn't last 10 seconds. He spread his meat all over the place. The general said, see, this is courage. He himself planted the mines there, he knows. But he went, this is courage. The third general was just busy with his drink. They looked at him and looked like he has no stuff in him. So he's just avoiding the whole challenge and just going on drinking. They nudged him and asked, okay, what about you? He said, I know clearly my men are the most courageous, there's no need to prove anything. They said, empty talk won't do. So, he said, he called one of his troops, hey guy, come here. That guy just came and stood like this. Yes, General. So he said, see that river, they're just 100 feet away, there's a deep waterfall, you know that. Now, go and swim and cross the river. It's flowing with great fury, you cross the river. The soldier just took a peek and said, hey General, are you out of your head? What's gotten into you? You've been drinking too much whiskey? I'm not going to do anything stupid like that. The general said, see, this is real courage. Do you have that?